Hello, parents and PTA members of Rio Rancho High School students. I am here today to address the controversy over the banning of books in the school today, arguing a particular case about Looking for Alaska by John Green, as it has recently come to attention to the board that certain members are upset and offended by things that their children are reading about. So we thought it'd be good to talk about them today, and as to what you should talk about your child with these books and why it is important for them not to be banned in their schools. A lot of kids are reading the book Looking for Alaska by John Green, as he is a popular young adult novel author and has been known for his book The Fault in Our Stars, made into a motion picture. So he's very popular right now with students. People are looking into other books, and the library is carrying Looking for Alaska, and people are upset over the controversy that is presented, particularly, as said by John Green, the explicit language and sexually explicit descriptions, which is found to be most banned, and which made it the 2015 most banned book. For this particular community, people are upset over the drugs, alcohol, and sex that is present in the book, as it is an epidemic with our youth society today, and find that they're afraid that it is condoning it. Drugs, all of these are controversial topics that should be talked about with your kids one way or another. Them reading it in a book is not where they are going to first hear it from. They are not going to hear about drugs or these sexually explicit things from the books that they're reading and get ideas from them. So it's important for you to have conversations with your children reading these books, and if it comes across something you're concerned about, you should be able to read the book yourself and see what it is actually going over, because people are nitpicking the book. As John Green said in an interview, text is meaningless without context, to where many people are going into the book, looking at a page, seeing something that contains content that is very controversial and getting upset about it. John Green is a renowned author for a reason. He writes youth novels that have characters that are very important for our youth to be able to relate. They face struggles outside of these things that people are curious about, whereas just typical teen angst. They face labyrinths, as they call it in the book, which is them trying to figure out how to go through journey of life. And it is important to have characters that people are going to relate to in books. And as we have had a few casualties and have had, unfortunately, some suicides that have happened within our school and within the district, and students that people have known in the past few years, people are upset over the topic of death and suicide, and the fact that their children are reading something that may be suggestive towards it. It's very serious, and people need to be able to understand teen suicide and its warning signs and things to be able to prevent it. If people aren't even aware, if they don't talk about it, if they don't read or have these discussions, whether it be student to teacher, student to parent, student to peer, they're not going to be able to know how to take a look at these things. So this book has a lot to do with that, a lot to do with mental health, and these are all things that students are able to read. They're able to connect to different parts, and be at the extremes of explicit content from alcohol and drugs and sex to mental health and more serious tones of existential crises and death. It just has important content for teens throughout that is presented in the themes, and it's a good way for people to be able to relate to the death and life of mourning it gives kids a lot of outlets, and there are different things in these books that I want to be able to give you examples of that I have found and that I have seen people look at and be able to relate to in their different experiences. Overall, it's really important to be able to talk about these things with your child. Having to prevent them from reading books and thinking that that's going to stop them from learning about scary things that you don't want your children being involved with, or thinking that everyone's going to be able to talk about things that are harder to talk about, is not going to be the common case. We live in a society today where, and our top bestsellers are 50 Shades of Grey, and we do have the internet, folks, so there's so many outlets out there in this world. Having books as an outlet has been a great thing. Things have been banned because of their power, and books are really powerful, and Looking for Alaska has really powerful messages that it needs to convey to our readers, which are our students, our high school kids, them and their peers. It's important for even you as a parent or a PTA board member or a teacher to go out and read that book, as it is a personal book recommendation. You can talk about your opinions of what you think is controversial and why it might be banned. But overall, understand that it has very important morals and things to talk about. It opens up a discussion, and that's things that we need to have more often. So as long as we are having these discussions with our new rising generation, we are going to be able to have very knowledgeable people who aren't afraid of things that are hard to talk about and censor. So when it comes to banning books, this is for the argument of not banning Looking for Alaska. And if you're still not sure, go out and read it today. We can discuss it at the next board meeting. Thank you.